From the KATC Weatherland, here's Rob's forecast.
While the weather off to the east is going to be horrible later tonight through tomorrow morning for portions of the Sunshine State, we're basking in drier weather, lower humidity, and grateful for the rain we've had and that heat wave that has been broken. So good news for us, bad news for our friends off to the east. So let's take a look at this high resolution satellite imagery. This is a minute by minute update just over the last 2 hours. And you can see just in the last 2 hours, a storm that is getting a little bit better organized. We have an eye that's become visible, warming right here. We see a very intense convection going over very warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, and it's going to be a long day, and a lot of lives are going to be changed in an area that hasn't seen a major hurricane in the better part of the last 160, 170 years. So another high-end storm, but going in a different location than you see normally in Florida. You see the dry air coming in. We were hopeful some of that dry air would get entrained into the system, but this one's moving too fast, sealed itself off, and now moving inland and continues to look quite impressive and new tonight. We have tornado watches that have been posted for much of Florida as these tropical rain bands move in, and there's going to be some flooding problems with repeated rain bands over areas, but fortunately this is a storm that is moving at a very, very quick pace, and we'll get to that in just a bit. Radar-wise, things have quieted down here after a relatively active day compared to the last 5 or 6 weeks. We had some storms and showers, mostly showers last night, showers and a few storms today. The lingering activity now working its way off the coast, and things will be quiet for the rest of the night. So in the tropics, we have 2 nearly major hurricanes, one about to become major, one that's holding on as a major storm, 120, 115 mile-an-hour winds rather, with Hurricane Franklin. Bermuda beginning to feel the tropical storm effects within hours, and this storm now moving off to the northeast. We'll miss the island there. And then we have Idalia here moving into the northeastern part of the Gulf of Mexico. And again, this is a 6-hour loop. Notice at the beginning of the loop, you couldn't really see much of an eye. Now we're getting one. We'll see if these cold cloud tops, anything here in magenta is 80 below zero, very cold cloud tops. And when they get very uniform and circular, you know you have an intensifying storm, and still plenty of real estate to go. Some of the outer rain bands, sometimes when they impact land, do impact the storm, but we'll see how this one plays out. That has not been a trend over the last couple of years, where storms just keep on intensifying even as they're interacting with land. 110 mile-per-hour winds. This is the speed. Moving north at about 18. Pressure down to 958 millibars. It was 962 a couple of hours ago. Before that, it was in the 970s earlier today. So pressure dropping, and when the pressure drops, the winds eventually catch up. And that's why the Hurricane Center is forecasting a Category 4 storm here as it makes landfall. I don't know what happened with our picture, but I'll keep on going, and we'll show hopefully that this storm has moved out into the Atlantic. That was kind of weird, but now you see it, now you don't. Now you see me, now you see me, you just didn't. But Category 4, still a Category 1 hurricane as it reaches South Carolina, then a tropical storm, and afterwards we go into, after next week, after Labor Day, the system may linger out in the Atlantic for a few days as a much minor storm, but something that you have to keep an eye on if it's not above 30 degrees north latitude. Always have to watch it for the Gulf. Notice the water temperatures here. This one getting upwelling because of the hurricane, but upper 80s to near 90s, so lots of heat potential. You have your hurricane warnings now extending and watches all the way up through South Carolina, surrounded by tropical storm warnings as well. And the big story with this is going to be the storm surge warnings, and where we're going to see the highest surge. Everything in red here is going to be better than 9 feet, and we had 10 to 15 feet earlier. The Hurricane Center has now just come out with 12 to 16 feet for a storm surge just near and east of where that eye makes landfall. You have a shallow coastline here, and you have low-lying areas, so that storm surge is going to penetrate some 15, 20 miles inland in some spots, especially along rivers, so that's going to be awfully bad. And then there's going to be storm surge issues up toward the Carolinas, at least 3 to 5, maybe a little bit more. We'll watch that that for tomorrow. Here's the way it looks on the infrared satellite imagery as our model's telling us. And again, the graph model does an excellent job with the tropics, and we can expect tropical storm force winds across the west coast of Florida. Purple is 75, white is 100-mile-per-hour winds, and that'll be making landfall right around daybreak tomorrow morning, where you'll see those 70, 80, 90, 100-mile-an-hour plus gusts, and even hurricane conditions into South Georgia with gusts over 70 to 80 miles an hour likely. So things quieting down for Acadiana overnight tonight. We'll go mid-70s the low, so that'll feel better. The dew points coming down into the 50s tomorrow. We'll get up to 97 degrees, but it's going to be a comfortable 95 with breezy north winds more than likely. So showers, any sprinkles out there, ending fair skies later on tonight. Almost a supermoon tonight. You can tell it's a big moon out there. It's the biggest supermoon of the year and a blue moon because it's the second full moon of August. Temperatures feeling better by morning. It's going to feel even better tomorrow night. We'll go 97 the high tomorrow, but a comfortable 97 if you're not working directly in the sun. North to northeast winds 10 to 17 with a few gusts up to about 20 to 25 miles an hour. So it's going to be a breezy day tomorrow. Comfortable humidity, quite warm temperatures into the weekend. Then by the latter part of the weekend into Labor Day, we do have a chance of showers and thunderstorms. More than likely, those rain chances may go up for Sunday and or Monday. And then it dries out and the heat makes just a reprise. Some triple-digit heat could come back for a few days toward the end of next week and into the following weekend. Then hopefully we'll be done with those 100s. That's it for weather for now. We're going to have more coming up right after the break.